order the regular meeting of the West Valley City Council. Let the roll call show that all members of the council are present, with the exception of Council Member Tom Hune, whose wife gave birth last night to a beautiful baby girl. Carolyn is her name, and so we congratulate the Hunes and excuse him obviously from this evening's proceedings. We also want to acknowledge Mr. Paul Douglas Isaac, who is our acting city manager and assistant city manager, and tonight is acting in the stead of our city manager Wayne Pyle, who is not with us tonight. Item 3 on this evening's agenda is our opening ceremony, and each week we take turns having an opening ceremony and having different council members in charge of that ceremony. And tonight it's council member and Mayor Pro Tem Corey Rushton's turn for this opening ceremony, so we'll see what he has for us tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. In light of today's historic proclamation declaring December 10th, 2013 as Hank Price Day, I was excited to get to those thoughts and to that resolution. And so I'll ask you to join me in a Pledge of Allegiance, but just wanted to give you kind of the fun-filled Hank Price stat for the day. Hank Price was born in 1915 and was the first mayor of West Valley City. It's interesting, in 1915, that was the year that was most noted in U.S. history as the year that the first stop sign was introduced in a small town in Michigan. Since during his life, Mayor Price presided over the city to where many stop signs were installed. And today, currently, we have 907 stop signs in the city of West Valley City. And so, as we've kind of put all the things and some of the later things of the proclamation into perspective, 907 stop signs in West Valley City. And so with that, will you rise and join me in a Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So many stop signs, so many rolling stops, 907. Item 4 tonight is any special recognitions. We don't have any scout groups with this. This is normally when we pick on them. But we do have our Mayor-elect Ron Bigelow and Councilmember-elect Lars Nordfeld in the audience. And just by way of public announcement, they will be sworn in the lobby here at high noon on Monday, January 6th. We'll officially pass the gavel, so to speak. So I look forward to that day. We have item 5 tonight, which is the approval of our minutes of November 26th. Council, is there any items on that you would like to have questions on, or is there a motion?
Move for approval of the minutes of November 26th.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion there? Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. We do have a couple awards and proclamations. We're going to hold off on one if the council's all right with that for a moment and go to 6B, our Employee of the Month. And our Employee of the Month is here with his group, Officer Chad Zeigenhorn. And our Employee of the Month is going to be read today by Councilmember Steve Bueller.
Thank you, Mayor.
On our behalf.
Officer Ziegenhorn, would you stand up, please, so we can all recognize you while I read this?
What did I say, Zeigenhorn? That's as bad as the telemarketers that say Winder, you know, so Ziegenhorn, got it.
I read this sterling nomination prepared by Holly Ziegenhorn, but she would know best, right? So we have full faith and give full credit to this nomination. I am choosing to nominate Chad Ziegenhorn for Employee of the Month. Chad is assigned to the K-9 unit and has an explosive bomb detector K-9 Bobby as his partner. And where is Bobby?
He's in the car keeping warm.
Oh, well, we would have liked to have seen him, I'm sure. Chad is also assigned to the bomb squad. Chad responds on and off duty to bomb call-outs statewide and to do sweeps of buildings and/or areas before major events, as well as handles any and all duties assigned by his supervisors. This requires him to work a flexible schedule based on the needs of the department in order to handle everything he is asked to do. Chad also handles calls for service to assist patrol when he is not assigned elsewhere. On top of Chad's many assigned duties, Chad took the initiative to implement a plan to assist our police department and law enforcement as a whole with bringing wanted parties into court and or booking them into jail in order for these individuals to clear up their outstanding warrants. Chad has gone above and beyond by also taking the initiative to get these outstanding warrants served and or taken care of by calling these wanted parties and giving them options in lieu of being arrested. Chad is so committed that he works every night on his own time at home preparing for the next day in order to be productive in serving these warrants in the cracks of his free time. We as police officers, detectives, and citizens of West Valley City all benefit by Chad going the extra mile to see to it that individuals who have outstanding warrants get them taken care of and that they are handled sooner rather than these warrants lying stagnant until law enforcement runs into these individuals in the future. Chad has taken a proactive approach to a problem which has otherwise been overlooked. Since March 2013, Chad has served warrants totaling over $2.1 million in bail. He has taken 132 of these individuals with warrants and has booked them into jail. Chad has cleared up 276 warrants, of which 158 were West Valley City issued warrants, and 39 of those warrants were for felonies. The employees of the Police Department and Justice Court are well aware of Chad's dedication to this project, and because of this, they contact Chad daily to assist with finding and serving other outstanding warrants for detectives and other officers. Chad also has the West Valley City Justice Court calling him regularly, requesting his assistance with transporting wanted parties to jail. What makes Chad a great candidate for the Employee of the Month is the fact that Chad is always willing to assist others and is always looking for ways to make West Valley City Police Department more productive, which creates a better place to live, visit, and work. And then when you're done, would you just take the mic and introduce who's here with you and let us know a little bit around. There's your goods. Thank you.
Your chief here.
Oh, that's okay. Okay.
You just wanted me to introduce the,
Yeah, let's give recognition to those others that are here.
my mom and dad, Sandy and Cliff Ziegenhorn, my brother Clay Ziegenhorn, my sister Cindy Ziegenhorn, Shane Jones, actually it's Cindy's husband, so I guess it's Cindy Jones now, and their daughter Alexis Jones, and then last but not least my beautiful wife Chloe, and the other members of my crew, Sergeant Matheson and the other guys. So,
Okay,
Well,
thank you.
well deserved, and what a wonderful Employee of the Month, and we're honored to have you on the team here at West Valley.
thank you, sir.
Let's give them another round of applause. And because we think so much of you and your family, we won't be offended if you leave early. However, there is one more ceremonial thing we're going to do shortly that may be worth your time to stay for, or if you need to get to a dinner reservation or something, we understand that too. So either way.
Who needs to go arrest some bad guys?
Yeah, you're on shift, that's true.
Actually, I do, but I don't think we're out for it.
Great. Our other, in addition to Employee of the Month, we have a special proclamation that we're doing today, and that's declaring December 10th as Hank Price Day in West Valley City. And I have a proclamation I'll read. First we had, as we discussed this with our West Valley Historical Society, they were excited about it, and Bill Barton, who has been around this community for a very long time and worked with Hank in the incorporation effort, wanted to be here tonight. He's out of town with the holidays, but he sent a letter that he's asked that we read this evening. And since you'll hear enough from me when I read the proclamation in a moment, I've asked Mayor Pro Tem Corey Rushton to read Bill Barton's letter so you can get a viewpoint from him. And so let's do that.
Yeah, and it's my favorite painting that's out in the hall we have displayed. Has some of the city founders out there, and Bill is among them in the picture with Hank Price. But his letter sent from his home in West Jordan reads, To all who would honor Hank Price at this time, it is my pleasure to say a few words in recognition of Henry Price, the one individual to whom we owe a debt of gratitude for his undying efforts towards enabling West Valley residents to determine their own destiny in becoming a city. Henry Price was the dominant figure in the incorporation of West Valley City. While many other citizens shared in ideas, support, and organization, Price was the one who rose to be the one to put the ideas together and consistently push forward towards the successful incorporation of West Valley City. Price, who normally was recognized with an unlit cigar in his mouth, was a retired military man, a Pearl Harbor survivor, and he possessed the ability to organize and to stand up and to overcome the many roadblocks that opponents placed in his way. He, with several members of the Incorporation Committee, spent their own money in visiting newly incorporated cities in other states to learn from their experiences. Being Justice of the Peace at the time, he was involved in many civic and fraternal groups, including the Granger Lions, the Granger Hunter Community Council, the Eagles, Elks, Moose, and VFW. Hank had many friends and connections. He was able to follow through and to stay the course through the entire process of city incorporation from early in 1977, the loss of the first city election on February 1978, which sent the committee and Hank back a bit, but through the February 1980 victorious election, formal incorporation in July 1980, and to serve as the initial mayor of the new city. As mayor, with help of 2 new commissioners, although not always agreeing on everything, he stalwartly got the city started on a shoestring with funds borrowed against the future of immediate income taxes. Hank envisioned a city different from the typical city of 1980, one that contracted many of its services out to the private sector, and a city that would survive without tremendous debt and with low taxation. In recognition of Henry Price, the first mayor of West Valley City, sincerely, Bill Barton.
Right, thank you, Councilor Rushton, for reading that. I'm going to read the official proclamation now, and following this, we've invited Mayor Price's only child and only daughter, Trudy Price Bodden, who's here with us this evening on the front row, to come up and say a few words. And then after her remarks, I would invite Trudy and any blood descendant of Hank Price to come up and shake our hands. And Trudy, when it gets to you, we'll hand your family the proclamation. But I also have a West Valley City Mayor pin that I'd like to give every descendant of Hank Price that's in attendance today to remember this special day. And we can even pose for a picture after, because we have our city photographer, and that's why I say the blood descendants, because the in-laws have to take the pictures, right? West Valley City, Utah. A proclamation declaring December 10th, 2013 as Hank Price Day in West Valley City. Whereas Henry Herbert, or Hank Price, born December 10th, today's his birthday, 1915, gave tremendous public service in our community for years in countless capacities, including chair of the Granger Hunter Community Council, president of the Granger Lions Club, justice of the peace, and West Valley City's first mayor. And whereas Hank Price served our country heroically, including defending Pearl Harbor and fighting in the Battle of the Bulge during World War II and serving as deputy post commander at Fort Douglas. And whereas it has been reported regarding the origins of this city that, quote, it was abundantly clear that the driving force behind incorporation was Henry Price, that Price was the true leader. People turned to him for answers, and he had them. Accentuating points with frequent waves of his trademark and unlit cigar, Price left no doubt he knew what he wanted and intended to get it. And whereas Hank Price demonstrated admirable grit and determination in refusing to accept defeat in the failed 1978 incorporation effort, resulting in a successful 1980 incorporation of West Valley City. And whereas when a vote to disincorporate the city was set for July 8, 1980, only a week after the new city was supposed to launch, many thought it prudent for the city to postpone its July 1st start date. But Price vowed to launch West Valley City on July 1st regardless and declared damn the torpedoes. And whereas when bankers refused to issue a letter of credit to fund the new city until the disincorporation vote was resolved, Hank Price and city commissioners Gerald Wagstaff and Renee Mackey stepped up heroically to pay for the gas of the city's 15 police cars personally. And whereas Hank Price led a successful effort to defeat the disincorporation attempt 1 week into the city's existence and passionately fought for what he felt was right for the new city. And whereas Hank Price spent untold hours and tremendous energy to create and help launch West Valley City, Utah, and reach his vision of a real, quote, a real beautiful city, in his words, quote, it's going to be the best city humanly possible to create, close quote. Now therefore be it resolved that a grateful city declare his birthday, December 10th, to be Hank Price Day in West Valley City. That in addition to the city's birthday of July 1, this date become the second official city-recognized holiday, a day of remembrance for the George Washington of West Valley City. Dated this 10th day of December 2013, Mike Winder, Mayor. So Trudy, congratulations to you and your family. What a wonderful legacy, and I invited you to say a few words. And
then you want me to get up and...
Isn't that mean of me? But you have Kent there by your side, so you can do a lot of good things with a good man there.
May I have Kleenex when you talk? Thank you. Am I facing you? Okay. You know, I've really looked forward to this, Mike, because my dad was a great man, and so this lets me sort of say some of the things that I want to say. Thank you for honoring my father today. I would like to tell you a little about him. Today would have been his 98th birthday. Now that's hard for me to believe. He was a man for all seasons, born in Layton, Utah. His parents moved to Chicago when he was rather young. His father later deserted them and deserted him and my grandmother, and he was 8 years of age. He was born during the Great Depression, and by the time he was 15, he was riding the rails. He was in Pearl Harbor when the Japanese attacked the United States of America, thus bringing the USA into World War II. He was transferred to France, where he was involved in the Battle of the Bulge with his tank unit. And I was little, but I still remember this. It was there that his leg was run over by a tank, and the Army sent him to Modesto, California to recover from his wounds. And I remember my son-in-law, the nuts that grow there, Doug. Dad had always sent me out to pick up the nuts.
Almonds.
Almonds? Okay, I never picked up so many nuts in my life, but Dad wanted the nuts, and so, and he was there for many months, and the damage to his leg resulted in a limp that was very familiar to many of us. After his recovery, he was employed as the supervisor of all the vehicle maintenance at Fort Douglas. He later was made deputy post commander of Fort Douglas, which was unheard of because he was a civilian. At the same time, he was given the responsibility for all inspections at the Minuteman missile site located north of Rexburg, Idaho. After his retirement, he ran for and became the Justice of the Peace for our area. His court was located in the building directly west of Redwood Road, which later became the first city offices for the new West Valley City. He was respected by the police officers from the county. He was fair but stern, very stern. When needed, he helped many young men straighten out their lives. I had a young man call me and ask if this was Hank Price's daughter, and I said, yes, it is. And he said, could I just talk to you for a minute? And I said, certainly. And he said, I just want to tell you that if it wasn't for your father, I wouldn't be the person I am today. He gave me only 1, 2, but 3 or 4 chances to change my life, and I'm ever grateful to Hank Price. And I thought that was very nice of him to call and tell me that. Again, I want to thank you for honoring my father today. This city meant a lot to him. He had a vision for the unincorporated towns of Granger and Hunter and what they could become. Truly, he was a man of all seasons. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Trudy, as you come around to shake our hands, if the other descendants of Hank Price in attendance could also, we'd like to shake your hand as well.
This is my 4 daughters, and this was his only grandchildren. So I will tell you their names: Sandra, Patty, Julie, and Mary. And he was very proud of his grandchildren. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, any great grandkids?
We do have the grandkids.
You did. It was so memorable. Let's do it again. Thank you. This is our honor.
This is something, and I heard it on the radio.
It's Hank Price Day. Forget, what's this Christmas they're talking about?
Yes, yes, thank you.
So these would be great. First Mayor, the George Washington of our city.
Mary, Julie.
Are there any great greats yet?
No, this is just grandchildren. They don't know how to get to the
Live up to the legacy. Great grandfather.
That's right.
Her grand. There you go.
By my name.
Yeah, we'll pause for the photo.
Okay. Looking good.
Let's see, why don't you have Trudy hold that proclamation for you?
Yeah.
There we go.
Down lower so I can see your pretty face. There we go. Okay, that's a great. Okay, just look at me and.
Is the paparazzi finished? Let's see, those who haven't shook our hands, please continue the loop there. Someone needs to help Grandma.
Thanks for coming.
What an honor for us to have the living child, daughter Trudy, and the 4 living granddaughters of our city founder and first mayor with us tonight, and of course a lot of the next generation and spouses as well. Thank you so much for honoring us with your presence, and I hope you take some time to enjoy the display out there. We're not sure, Trudy, was it you? Who put those big books together out there years ago?
Grandpa did.
Were those
He
his?
started
Yeah,
Good for him.
He kept track of all that stuff.
Well-
He did that.
Well, those we keep safely in the basement of the Utah Cultural Celebrations Center as part of our Historical Society archives.
Okay.
So if you ever needed access for whatever reason, let us know.
All right.
And then some of the other posters and things I helped personally put together, and Councilman Rush and I even went up to the U archives to look at some of the old newspaper headlines. And we love those political cartoons. Those are some fun ones. So that's teasing Pat Bagley, because I was asking him where his originals were, and he said the U. And I said, Pat, you must be really old if you were sketching those in 1980. And he said, whippersnapper. But thank you again, and you young people live up to the legacy of the wonderful parents and grandparents and great-grandparents you have that care about community and care about giving back, and wherever you live in your schools and communities, you have a lot to live up to and a lot of good family pride, and we're proud of you and grateful to you as a city. So thank you so much, and Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you very much.
You know, Mayor, the Historical Society might want to look at somehow digitizing all of that before we...
Good idea, so those
lose it
newspapers
for
get older.
Yeah.
And Chad, you and your group are good to stick around, but that's a little piece of West Valley history you don't see every day, so hope it was worth your while, and it is an honor to honor you today as our Employee of the Month, too, and you're welcome to slip out if you'd like.
And we hope Bobby's okay, too.
Left to the car. Item 7 tonight is our comment period. And is there anyone here for public comment tonight? No? City manager, anything?
Actually, I think it would be appropriate to respond for Mr. Pyle. If he were here, he would probably want me to do this as well, but I know we don't have an audience anymore, but we are still being recorded. And I would just express a degree of pride here amongst all of the council for recognizing this great man. And I particularly wanted to compliment Mayor Winter. I've watched him work on this project for some time, and his love of history is well known to all of us. And I think it's fitting that essentially the father of our city is being honored tonight by the youngest mayor ever to be elected from our outgoing mayor, Mayor Winter. So I think that just needed to be said, and frankly, watching you over the past several weeks working on this project, and I wasn't aware of Councilman Rushton's involvement, but I know you've enjoyed that, and it's really a pleasure to be able to have our citizens come and experience that type of gratitude for their grandfather and father and
Great-grandfather.
great friend, great younger guy. So thank you.
Thank you. Any council members, any comments? Thanks for bearing with us for that. Those are fun things to do on occasion. Resolution 13172. Isaac?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This resolution is just an amendment to and restatement of the interlocal agreement that we have created between the cities affected by VEC, the Valley Emergency Communications Center. And this basically, now we welcome in with this interlocal, the sheriff into the VEC's, into our VEC partnership, if you will, which is a long time coming. And so this is something that's been desired by all of the cities that participate. And with this interlocal now, we can make that happen.
Great, thank you. And speaking of history, this is historic, trying to get this pulled off. Anyone like to make a motion on this one or any questions?
Question first, it's the only holdout city still on this is Murray that still needs to adopt this interlocal agreement, is that correct?
Well, I'm not sure they've actually, did you say no? No, we're the last one. Okay. So I was going to say, Murray has already read this. I think they did that last week in their meeting.
Well, that's the best of all the gang, so I would move approval of Resolution 13172.
Second.
Thank you both. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving 172, say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. 173, Mr. Isaac.
This would normally be on a consent agenda, but because we do obviously have one of those, this is just to authorize the city to grant an easement to Questar Gas Company to provide service to Utopia Hut at Centennial Park.
Okay, do we have a motion on this one?
Mayor, move for approval of Resolution 13173.
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you both. Any discussion, debate? Substitute motion requesting a Pizza Hut instead of a Utopia Hut? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of approving 173, say aye.
Aye.
That also is unanimous. Any need for executive session this evening?
No, sir.
Okay, then we come to item 10, which is to adjourn.